The Timberwolves look to tangle with a fellow Western Conference foe coming into this game today. Starting your week off right, 2K Sports teaming up with the NBA. It's great to have you here with us. This is Kevin Harlan calling the game alongside Clark Kellogg and Steve Kerr. Take a look at the Rockets. A great start of the season for them, playing very well so far.
Right now for the Rockets, they've achieved all the goals they'd set for themselves in the early part of the season. And their confidence really sky high right now. It should be.
Well, I don't see any reason, Clark, why they shouldn't be able to keep this pace up. I mean, this is a team that has some talent. They've clearly established an identity. They're playing both sides of the floor. And they put together a nice start to this season. So the momentum is there for them.
Here's King. He had a 30-point outing their last game against Memphis.
Well, that was a quick foul for him there. The refs are certainly calling it close.
The basket drops, and he gets fouled on the shot. One free throw coming his way.
I like what the Rockets with their roster. They've got a lot of talent, but in a league where superstars really put you over the top, that's one thing Houston has not been able to accomplish, finding a star player.
Steve has a chance to come to your team, and last season, the Rockets certainly were in the mix for Carmelo Anthony. They've thrown their hat in the ring, Clark, trying to get some star players down there.
Yeah, they have, but, the right deal just didn't seem to present itself. They've said now they'll try to build around the pieces they have, but with that minutes crunch, no surprise to see them keep trying to land that big-time star.
Now let's send it over to Doris Burke, who was able to talk with Kevin McHale.
The one player on his mind in this matchup, Kevin Love. And it's not for his scoring ability, but for the harm he can do to a team on the backboards. You saw what he can do to teams if he goes unchecked, Coach said. We don't want to let him get up and get over 20 or 30 rebounds on us. And to do that, we got to check him out each time a shot goes up. Guys, easier said than done.
Thank you, Doris. And Hill backs him in. Now Lowry. The kick out to Williams. 4 on the shot clock. Three-pointer. Martin gets it to go. Martin's got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for 3.
Last year a bit of a weird one for Terrence Williams. I mean, he started out with the Nets and then eventually was traded to the Rockets mid-season.
And that's collected by Hill.
Good, tough defense there. Getting a hand up, forcing that miss.
Well, he's got the reputation of being a tough defender, and there was an example right there for you.
Johnson against Williams. Takes it right up. King is tagged with the loose ball foul. That is his first foul of the game.
First personal foul, team's first.
Here's Williams. Turned in an outstanding game against New Jersey. Now here is Lowry. Not a lot of room. Outside Williams. Clock at 6. Guarded now by Michael Beasley. Nice fake there to create the shot, but it's no good. Clark, you brought up Terrence Williams. He broke some rules at New Jersey, too, and they sent him, Steve, remember, to the D-League as punishment.
Yeah, so talented. I mean, Terrence Williams is a guy, when you look at him and you watch him play, you think, man, he could be a star. So for him, it's a matter of maturity. If he can grow and learn how to just work on his game and keep his focus on improving his game and helping the team, got a chance to be special.
Randolph, a screen on Martin. Here's King. 5 points in the game. Love lays it up, and despite of the excellent defense at that, Love's got his second basket. Outside Williams. Outside Lowry. Scola backing down. Three-pointer. No good. Now the Timberwolves will take it the other way. They come into this one following the loss to the Grizzlies.
And they were not very strong defensively that night, guys. They just were not as strong as they normally are. Didn't play with much energy. Didn't play very hard.
Well, they lacked emotion, too. And you've got to be an emotional team to play good defense, John. That helps raise your intensity. Guys are talking and engaged, and we didn't see any of that.
King, the pass to Beasley. It's in.
Michael Beasley.
Beasley's got his first 2 points of the night.
Well, every once in a while, he'll show us some pretty good moves around the hoop.
Scola kicks to Lowry. Outside, Martin. Back to Lowry. Straight up. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot two. That one on Love.
Lowry really came into camp in great shape last year and took that starting point guard job from Aaron Brooks. And he really turned things on after the All-Star break. Had a great March and, in fact, won his first NBA Player of the Week during that month.
And the Rockets making a change here. Morris has checked in. Steve was just talking about Lowry, Clark. He really turned it on as the season winded down.
Well, you know what, Kevin? Last March, he averaged almost 20 points and 8 assists a game. I mean, those are big-time numbers, and he showcased what he can be with expanded playing time.
Gets the bucket.
Sometimes folks forget about his decent mid-range jumper. He can knock those down.
Last season, that was a major issue for them. In fact, only one team, the Wizards, had a worse record on the road.
Stolen. Here's the break. Here's King. And the layup falls. He's got 7.
Defense wasn't able to get back fast enough to contest.
Well, they were caught flat-footed after committing the turnover that time, guys.
Outside, Scola. Shot clock at 6. Here's Martin. Takes it up. And that falls. Martin's got 7. Well, for those Timberwolves, Clark, how do you think they can turn around that road record?
Well, how much time do I have, Kevin? I mean, there are a lot of things that you need to look at trying to answer that. It starts with taking care of the ball. The Timberwolves had the most turnovers of anybody in the league, and on the road, you got to really value it. I mean, that's one way you have a chance to win on the road is if you maximize possessions and don't turn it over.
Left side, Williams. Right up. The shot by Lowry, no good.
Yeah, he's struggled with his shot this quarter, and he's got to find a groove somehow.
Beasley up top. He's guarded by Williams. Fires from 14. Rockets trail by 5. Guys, we've seen some excellent offensive output.
Yes, sir, fellas. They've had it going on big time.
Big time is right, Clark. A lot of momentum here offensively.
And here is Johnson. Here's King. And the 3 off target.
You figured it was just a matter of time before Mikal found his way back to the sideline. I mean, he just has too much love for the game and wanted to be in the middle of the action, so he couldn't stay away too long.
For the Rockets, Parsons checked in for Morris, and it's Budinger in for Terrence Williams. Timberwolves leading by 3. Here's King, now recovering, and Love backs in. And once again off the mark by Minnesota.
Well, getting back to Mikal, it'd be very interesting to see what he can do, as this will be the first time out of the Timberwolves franchise. So a second opportunity for Mikal. And I think his strength is actually coaching. I think that's what he's best at. So this could be a very good fit for him and for Houston.
And the rebound goes to the Rockets. They're coming off that win against the Nets.
And above all else in that game, long-range shooting, to me, was what made the biggest impact.
Well, you called it. You're all over it, Steve. I mean, it's really hard for an opponent to overcome that kind of three-point barrage. I mean, I think it's the great equalizer. You can negate a lot of weaknesses if you can make three-point shots.
Just 2 to shoot. Lowry. That doesn't go on the chance to tie.
I think he's just got to compose himself, gather himself. He may be trying a little too hard out there. Let it flow. Let it happen. Don't force it.
Fires from deep. Gets it to go. Budinger's got himself going with the triple, his first basket of the game. The pass to King. Beasley outside. Love with the screen on Budinger. Here's Beasley. Budinger grabs the board.
Excellent. Really solid job, actually, by the defense to get in his way as he was going up for that one.
Outside, Martin. For the three. And it's Lowry again missing. And Minnesota has possession. And this is the first season matchup for them against this Rockets team.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see how this season series plays out. This is the first of 4 games these two teams will play.
Beasley, covered by Martin. To stop the drought. And that one is good by Beasley. And the Timberwolves lead by 2.
Boy, he just seems to score so easily. The game comes very simply to him.
And in terms of the 4 games between these two this season, I think it's a series that could get pretty heated as the games go on.
Well, we'll see what kind of tone is set here tonight.
Martin is out there with Terrence Williams. Then there's Patrick Patterson. Then there's Johnny Flynn. And it's Lee in at the 2. That's the 5 for Houston right now. Flynn with it. He picked up 12 points in their last win against New Jersey. And stolen by Williams.
Well, he was being overly optimistic there, thinking he could make that pass.
Patterson against Ridnour. No good from Lee.
Well, that is not the guy they want to drive the lane in heavy traffic.
Now here's Flynn. Right side, Martin. Just 5 on the clock. From 20 feet out. Rebound, Minnesota. Following this one, they get to host the Warriors. That'll be the first of 2 straight at home. Ridnour against Flynn. Patterson against Beasley. Beasley, a little shot fake there, got the D out of position. Beasley's got 6 points. Rockets trail by 3.
Well, Michael Beasley was a dominant power forward at Kansas State, but when he got to the NBA, he had to learn to play more of the 3 spot, and he's really become a great scorer. A little bit of a tweener, but an excellent scorer.
That's just a sloppy pass, a lack of focus there.
Stolen by Martin. Here's Flynn. Another miss by Houston. More and more lately, Clark, we see teams looking for the, I guess you call them stretch 4s, guys who can shoot from outside, power forward position. I don't know, maybe that's Beasley's future.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I think he's got a chance to have an impact there long term. He is a bit undersized, not really a dominant post player. And the one thing that surprised me, though, is he has not rebounded as well at the pro level as he did in college. And usually rebounding from college to pro carries over. So if he can put that back into his game and continue to expand his range and consistency, then I think he could be one of those 4 spacers we call them.
He misses the free throw.
I love the energy and enthusiasm that Johnny Flynn, the 6th overall pick in 2009 out of Syracuse, plays with. Just got to continue to add to his shot.
Luis Scola, he's checked in for Courtney Lee. Minnesota also making some changes. Anthony Randolph, he's checked in for Williams. And Kevin Love is subbed in for Lee. Beasley against Williams. Here's King. He's got 9. Excellent D there for Scola. Clark, speaking about Johnny Flynn, his athleticism is also such a big part of his game. He had surgery on his hip prior to last season, missed the first 2 months of the year. And Steve, when he returned, he didn't have that same burst, I noticed.
Yeah, hopefully he can get back healthy. Because when he came out of Syracuse, his ability to run that high pick and roll made him a favorite among NBA scouts. It wasn't just Minnesota that felt he was going to be a great point guard. So he's not been able to do it to this point. Let's hope Johnny Flynn can get healthy and develop and really work that talent that he's got.
Williams kicks to Martin. And it's going to be 2 free throws. Drew contact on the shot.
One of the things I love about Kevin Martin is his pump fake and the ability to use that three-point line, not just to shoot a three-point shot, but to use it as a threat with that pump fake to get the defender out on him, and then the ability to put the ball on the floor and get to the rim.
What Steve was saying about Martin earlier about his pump fake, it's almost like Clark, he's disguising it on purpose, like maybe what a Major League Baseball pitcher might do.
Well, for that pump fake to work, you've got to be able to knock down your perimeter shot. And he can shoot the three and the mid-range shot. But, the ability to disguise it goes back to what Steve said about facilitating getting into the hoop. I mean, he really takes advantage of getting defenders off balance. Michael Beasley basically was given away by the Miami Heat for a second-round pick and some cap space. Pretty surprising. Former number 2 overall pick. He's an outstanding scorer.
That one is no good. Clark, you're talking about Michael Beasley. The Heat traded him away so they could create space to sign Mike Miller. Steve, do you think they'll come to regret that decision?
No, I think Miami is perfectly happy with where they are going into the future. Remember, they traded him away to create more cap space, and that was one of the reasons they were able to get LeBron and Chris Bosh. So who knew what was going to eventually become of him? He had a great season with Minnesota, so it looks like he's going to be a very productive player during his career.
Shot clock at 5. Here's King. Money on the 10-footer. He's got 11.
You just can't let him get that close to the hoop.
Flynn kicks to Martin. Right side, Martin.
That's worthy of a standing O for that one. He's getting a standing O. You got to get up for that.
I'm up. Hey, yeah, he does deserve a little special treatment for that one.
Fellas, just sit down. Let's leave it to the fans, all right? Settle down.
Williams against Beasley. Deflects the pass. And stolen by Scola.
He really didn't have the room there to make that pass, guys.
Here's Martin. Here's Williams. No good from outside. Timberwolves trailed by 5.
Well, the Timberwolves are hoping that they've found some answers at the point guard position. The veteran Luke Ridnour really played a steady role for them a year ago, but Johnny Flynn, their top draft pick in 2009, missed almost 30 games and really struggled on the court.
Scola down low. He's covered by Randolph. And the basket by Scola.
He's gotten his legs underneath him because he's having a heck of a quarter.
Well, for the Timberwolves, the answer to their playmaking needs, a point guard, Steve and Clark, may have arrived in the form of rookie Ricky Rubio, joining the team from Spain.
Well, it's got to be a relief, Kevin, for the Minnesota fans to see the former number 5
out in the West early in the season. You look at the Rockets. Long way to go still in the season, but even so, they've got the top spot. And, of course, the Timberwolves.
Straight to the HP halftime report. The Rockets putting up one heck of a fight. They've tipped off the season strong and look to keep it going. Another big-time half by Kevin Martin. No slowing him down, coming off the win against the Nets in New Jersey. He's got a dozen points and has been a huge helper on the boards as well. Meanwhile, the Timberwolves not to be outdone. Physicality taking over the game. They are muscling their way around the paint. These two enjoyed great first halves, really leading the way for both teams. We could be in for a great finish. And now let's go around the league to catch up on other NBA action. Portland with a win against the Bobcats in Charlotte. With that game in the books, they split their last 2 outings. Wesley Matthews leading them in scoring. And another game that wrapped up at Energy Solutions Arena. It's the Jazz winning over the Bulls. With that game in the books, they split their last 2 outings. And now here's what's going on in the rest of the association. Over at Staples Center, it's the Clippers trailing to Denver, falling back by 9 points now in the 4th quarter. And that'll do it for us here. Let's get you back out to Kevin Harlan and the 2K broadcasting crew for the second half.
Here is Love. Now Ridnour. And Love backs in. Got a piece of it. And this is what the schedule looks like for Houston. Following this one, they get to host the Mavericks. That'll be the last of 3 straight at home for the team. Here is Ridnour. 6 to shoot. Here's King, covered by Flynn. And again, it's Minnesota converting.
They're amped up now, Kevin. After trailing for so long, they finally pulled ahead.
And so in the game for the Timberwolves, King, he's in at shooting guard. Williams is out there with Kevin Love. Then it's Johnson, and it's Ridnour in at the 1. Backing down is Martin. Fires it up. Converts on the jumper for the easy 2. Martin's got 16 points.
Boy, he's been so cool out there, composed, never rattled. I mean, a very steady contributor to the offense.
And here's Love. Ridnour up top. Now recovering. Right at the free throw line. Ridnour's shot is off.
You know, as tight as this game is, you have to like their chances the way they've been rebounding.
They have a pretty good margin in that department, so they've got to continue to hit the boards hard, and it'll pay off for them in the end.
Flynn kicks to Patterson. The shot's good on the assist by Flynn. Now it's a 5-point Rocket lead. Here comes Ridnour. Great offensive performance they're putting on.
You see the benefit of knocking down baskets consecutively because it leads to the confidence growing and growing, doesn't it, Steve?
It sure does, and now it's to the point where they just feel unstoppable.
Slammed home, and he draws the foul. A chance for another point at the free throw line.
Kevin Martin.
That one on Martin.
Not stop. There's no way to stop that. I mean, there's nothing you can do when he's coming at him like that.
Well, that's right, Clark. Steve, he is a dangerous, dangerous player.
Yeah, especially when he gets to that launching pad right there in the lane. I mean, pretty one-handed finish. That was nice.
Outside Williams. Goes right up. Rebound, Minnesota. Love's got double-digit rebounds now in the game.
Kevin Love last season, I mean, he broke the post-merger record for consecutive double-doubles by stringing together 53 in a row. And I was courtside because he broke the record in a game against the Pacers last
kidding.
season.
Yeah. But that would be fun to watch.
Yeah, it was fun to watch. It was painful because they blew out the Pacers that night.
Backing down is Martin. The feather touch on the finger roll. Beautiful. Flynn's got 7. Timberwolves trailed by 4. Clark, you mentioned Love's record. You were there courtside to see that. The previous mark was 51 in a row by Moses Malone. Steve, not bad company.
Oh, man. Talk about a great name for rebounding. Kevin Love is establishing himself, and if he can do this for another few years, he's going to go down as one of the great rebounders this league has ever seen.
Here is Ridnour. Here's King. Picked up by Flynn. Kicks it out to Johnson. They're moving it around. 5 on the clock. Shot is off, and the Rockets go the other way.
Solid job by them on the glass here tonight. +8 in rebounding.
Well, you have to rebound to win, and that's exactly what's happening right now.
You know, the Rockets don't have a singular star scorer, guys, but they focus on efficiency, and they share the ball around really well. Everybody touches it. And, in fact, Houston tied for first in assists last season at almost 24 a game. I think that speaks to unselfishness as a ball club. Come on now. You got to pay better attention than that on a shooter like him. He'll make that 10 times out of 10.
Now a timeout called by Houston. You're right about that, Clark. Going back to the Rockets' unselfishness on offense. Despite all that passing, they did a good job protecting the ball, too. Steve, were tied for 8th fewest turnovers in the league.
Well, it's a Rick Adelman staple as a coach. His teams have always really been solid offensively. They move the ball, but they take care of it, and that's exactly what the Rockets did a year ago.
Lowry dishes to Scola. Patterson, the screen. Stolen by Randolph.
And, you know, despite the number of turnovers, Kevin, they still got the lead here.
Well, eventually, guys, you know those mistakes will come back and haunt you, so they've got to do a better job of taking care of the basketball.
King gets called for the reach. That's his third foul of the game.
That's his third person, the team's first.
Here's Patterson. 6 points for him. Kicks it to Scola. That's blocked.
I think he's capable of shooting the ball much better than he has so far. I don't think there's any doubt about that, guys.
Here's King. Now recovering. Passes it to King. 6 on the shot clock. And stolen by Patterson.
Well, he's showing off his defensive instincts by making plays just like that.
Lowry working against Johnson. There's Lee with the 3. The shot's good on the assist by Lowry. Lowry's got 5 assists tonight. Here's King. Now recovering. Can't get it to go. And the Rockets go the other way.
Really strong performance by them so far in the glass.
You know, the lead they have in the rebounding category is also part of the reason they're on top on the scoreboard as well.
Rockets leading by 8. Scola backing down. Outside Lowry. Out to Lee. Now here is Lowry. Oh, man.
I tell you what, I bet that's the best assist we're going to see tonight.
Well, he laid it up there, Steve. A pass where only his teammate could get it.
Perfect time. I mean, that's what you need to make that kind of a connection.
So the Timberwolves call their first timeout.
Lowry, the Villanova product, a lot of people didn't think he could be a starting point guard in the NBA because he's not the most efficient shooter, but he's very careful with the basketball. Very efficient, takes care of it, and makes sure his teammates get good looks out there.
Randolph, Patterson defending. And the pass to King. Lowry picks him up. The Timberwolves need to get a shot off here. Beasley. Another miss by Minnesota. And what Steve just said about Lowry, that's very important to a coach. Clark, that efficiency that you brought up. Nice to have a point guard that will not turn the ball over.
Yeah, you need a guy that'll squeeze that orange because if you want orange juice, you got to squeeze it. In 35 minutes a game, just about 2 turnovers with 8 assists. That's a good number.
Huge numbers, you're right. Off the screen. Again, the Rockets score.
Great screen there. It sprung him open, and he took advantage.
Here's King. He's got 20. They need this. An easy 2 points on the layup. He's got 22.
Well, that makes 5 of their last 6 makes coming from inside.
Yeah, really focused on getting the ball into the paint because they're taking advantage of very porous defense down there.
Lowry passes to Budinger. Back to Lowry. Takes the 3. And another 3 for Houston.
You give him any kind of space, he's going to knock that down.
Here's King. He's got 22. Johnson up top, covered by Lee. King, now recovering. Randolph, a screen on Lowry. King, the pass to Milicic. Lets the 3 fly. Budinger grabs the board. Budinger's got 4 rebounds and he finished it off with a jam. Sprite Slam Cam gives us another look.
I don't know what to say about that. I mean, he went reverse on it. Beautifully done.
Clark, words can't even do that one justice.
Just let the pictures tell the story, guys.
4 seconds separating the shot and game clocks. Beasley in the post. Scola's there. Trying to break that ice-cold streak. No good from Beasley.
Now he can't get that. And last season was his first full year with Houston. And Kevin Martin, his production was fantastic. Averaged about 23 points per game and always finding his way to the free throw line.
Catching up on the changes for Houston. Hayes comes in for Patrick Patterson. And Johnny Flynn is subbed in for Terrence Williams. Beasley outside. Here's King. Covered by Martin. King, that's good. 24 points for him. Back to Martin, you had to figure if he could stay healthy. Of course, that's been a big thing in his career. If he could stay healthy, he'd get back to his previous production.
Without question. And he played 80 games last season. And when he plays that volume of games, the scoring numbers are going to be right where they were. 20-plus, mid-20s is what he can get you.
Defense gave him more than enough space right there.
Rubio the pass to King. And the basket is good. The call goes his way, and we could be looking at a three-point play.
You know, the Rockets have tried to be as efficient as possible acquiring talent on the cheap. I mean, trying to be really economical there. Their whole philosophy has been to acquire undervalued players. Quite possibly their thinking is they can facilitate a trade for a difference maker.
Courtney Lee, he's checked in for the Rockets. Minnesota also making some changes. Kevin Love's checked in for Williams. Johnson comes in for Lee. And Luke Ridnour subbed in for Ricky Rubio. Lee outside. Rebound, Minnesota. Love's got 13 rebounds in the game. Class eating. Going back to the Rockets and their fiscal discipline. Here's a good guy to talk about this to my side here, Steve Kerr. Some of the former players were, Steve, frustrated by the Rockets' refusal to extend contracts.
Well, you have to be prudent with your decision-making. And when you don't have a great team like Houston, you've got to make sound decisions. And I think that's the right way to go. Unless you have a championship team, you can't really extend yourself, because then you tie yourself up and there's no room for improvement.
Flynn working against Ridnour. Goes up. Blocked. Timberwolves trailed by 15. Tries to keep it alive. And stolen by Flynn. Here's the three. And Courtney Lee gets the three.
And that's his second three-pointer of this half. Looks like he's starting to forget about that poor first half he had.
Ridnour kicks to Beasley. Backing down.
2 minutes.
Pass to King.
2 minutes remaining.
Over Lee. Flynn grabs the miss.
That's an unusual, surprising miss for him. Typically, he's good on those inside.
Shoots, and he drew the blocking foul. He'll go to the line for two. That one is on Beasley.
Well, the Timberwolves were one of the worst teams in the NBA last year, and playing in that Western Conference is tough. They went just 7-45 against conference foes.
The first one falls. Well, for a team like that, Steve, struggling like the Wolves did last season, the Western Conference, not exactly a forgiving place. Clark, that's just amazing. Just 7 wins with 45 losses within their conference.
Yeah, and you've got to start looking at yourself as a player. I mean, you can't make excuses. Everybody on the team has to certainly try to get better. You do look at the talent level and see where you can improve that. Sometimes losing can create friction and finger pointing, but the only way to get better is to hold yourself accountable and take responsibility.
To the middle. Puts up the baby hook. That's good.
No, you can put this one in the W column. I mean, this is locked up now.
Yeah, I agree with you, Steve. I mean, they closed this game out exactly like they needed to.
Well, you see so many great European players in the league now. And one of the things the NBA has talked about in the past is creating a 5-team division in Europe. And obviously a lot of logistical hurdles involved, but wouldn't that be interesting?
Beasley comes with the double team. And Hayes kicks to Morris. Parsons. Again, the Rockets score. Just to get back to that idea of the NBA teams in Europe, the idea would be that teams here in the U.S. would fly to Europe and play all 5 teams twice. And then they'd be done with their international obligations.
I tell you what, that would be one monster of a road trip, not only in terms of miles, but also in terms of culture and experience. I mean, there's challenges as well, time zones with regard to broadcast times. You know, U.S. players might not want to play abroad. I think overall it could be a really exciting development, but a lot of questions yet to be answered.
So we see the Rockets taking the win here. And this one was such a lopsided victory.
They never let up. They were.
You guys had a great shooting night, but somehow weren't the better team. What happened out there that prevented you from getting the win?
That was a tough loss, no question. When the shots are falling, you feel like you should win the game every time. And when you don't, that means that something else was lacking. Usually at least one of the three things. Free throws, rebounding, or defense. Offense is only one part of the game. If you can't hold up your end of the bargain in all areas, then you can't expect to win very often. We didn't do that.